They're cooking something up. Behind the scenes, the Chargers are more active than ever, and there's a major move brewing that could change the course of Justin Herbert's future. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. A starting spot might be slipping away. There's buzz about a potential trade between NFL brothers, and even a surprise name being considered for the quarterback room, which is already packed. None of this is random. Jim Harbaugh is playing chess, not checkers. But how far could this strategy take the team? Let's get into it. Some decisions look simple on the surface, but if you take a closer look, they can flip the future of a franchise. That's exactly what's at stake with a proposed trade that would land the Chargers at the 14th spot in the draft, giving them a real shot at solving Herbert's biggest problem, the lack of reliable targets. According to Gordon McGuinness from Pro Football Focus, the best-case scenario would be a trade with the Indianapolis Colts, pushing the Chargers up in the draft to secure one specific name, Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona. The vision? Pair him with Ladd McConkey, and finally give our QB1 the firepower he needs. McMillan is a straight-up beast. In 2024, he hauled in 84 catches for 319 yards and 8 touchdowns. The year before, over 400 yards and 10 scores. So yeah, this guy isn't a one-hit wonder. And here's the kicker, and he's 6'5". A big, physical, dominant aerial threat. Exactly what the Chargers lost when Keenan Allen walked out the door. But here's the deal. To land McMillan, the front office has to get aggressive. It's risky, sure, but it's also smart. Everyone knows you can't hang your hopes on McConkey alone and waiting on Quentin Johnston to break out overnight. That's wishful thinking. If the plan is to help Herbert silence the doubters, then he needs a legit arsenal. Now just imagine this trio, Mike Williams, Ladd McConkey, and Tetairoa McMillan, Herbert running the show. It starts to feel like something special. With Harbaugh designing a balanced, creative offense, McMillan could be the final piece of the puzzle. And trust me, fans have thoughts. Some say moving up in the draft is nuts and the focus should be on defense. Others believe that if you're serious about building a powerhouse around Herbert, now's the time to go all in. This might be the last chance to lock in an elite offensive core for years to come. And let's not forget, McMillan's not just stats. He's got presence, leadership. He's that kind of guy who walks into a locker room and changes the vibe. That kind of psychological edge, you can't coach that. But the next twist in this story involves a name nobody saw coming, and a bloodline that could shake the whole league. It started as a whisper, and now it's popping up in every Chargers fan thread. Mark Andrews might be on the team's radar. Yeah, that Mark Andrews, the Ravens' star tight end. And the wildest part? The Harbaugh connection. John runs the Ravens. Jim runs the Bolts. Sterling C. from Pro Football Network says there's some smoke here. Andrews is entering the final year of his deal, and Baltimore may be ready to roll with Isaiah Likely as TE1. That opens the door for a trade, and LA is a very real possibility. And before you call this just another off-season rumor, think about it. Jim Harbaugh knows exactly how his brother coaches. He knows Andrews' habits, work ethic, and how he fits into different systems. He's basically got the scouting report memorized. And let's be real, Andrews would be a dream fit for Jim's offense. A physical, reliable tight end who can block and dominate the middle of the field. In Baltimore, Andrews' usage dropped in 2024, just 19. 4% target share, his lowest since his rookie year. But in LA, he'd become the go-to safety net for Herbert, especially on third downs and in the red zone. He's the weapon Gerald Everett never quite turned into. Now breathe this in. Herbert, Najee Harris, Mike Williams, McConkey, and Mark Andrews on the same offense. That's straight-up AFC nightmare fuel. More than that, it gives the team an actual offensive identity, something Harbaugh's been trying to build since day one. Of course, there's the price. Andrews isn't cheap, and a deal with the Ravens would almost certainly involve key draft picks, maybe even a player. So here's the question. Is it worth it to fix one of the team's biggest weak spots? Again, the fan base is split. Some are already dreaming of Andrews tearing it up at SoFi. Others say the priority should be on receivers, not tight ends. But nobody can deny the weight of a move like this. It's the kind of statement that shifts how the whole league views the Chargers. And one thing's for sure, Jim Harbaugh loves proving he's the smartest guy in the room. Maybe this family trade is his next masterstroke. Meanwhile, something's brewing closer to home, and it could cost a player his spot on the roster. Draft week is not the time to feel safe. And Quentin Johnston, he's got to be sweating right now. The former first-round pick from 2023 is staring down some real pressure because if the Bolts go WR in the early rounds, and all signs say they will, Johnston might be headed to the bench before Week 1 even hits. Jason Reed from Bolt Beat laid it out. If the Chargers invest in another top WR, Johnston could lose his starting role before he even gets going. Worse, it could shatter his standing in the locker room. Let's look at the numbers. Johnston put up 55 catches, 711 yards, and 8 TDs in 2024. Not terrible on paper. But if you watch the games, you know. The dude disappeared in key moments, dropped easy balls, and couldn't get open when it mattered most. And in the playoffs, 0 catches on 5 targets against the Texans. It was rough. Now picture the pressure if they bring in McMillan or another top WR. McConkey's locked into the slot. Mike Williams is back and leading the room. And if the rookie outshines Johnston in camp, that WR1 jersey starts collecting dust. And it's not just about stats. The expectations for Johnston were sky high. He was supposed to be the guy for Herbert. Instead, he's become a punchline for disappointed fans. Some still hold out hope, saying he deserves a clean slate with a new coach. But the NFL doesn't wait, and neither does the draft. Harbaugh wants results. If Johnston can't deliver, someone else will. Plain and simple. The risk of him becoming just another first-round bust? It's real, and it might already be too late. So, is there still a path to redemption? Maybe. But it'll take a massive turnaround, starting day 1 of training camp. He has to show growth, consistency, and clutch hands. No drops, no excuses, just grit, because right now there's a young, hungry, sure-handed wideout shadowing every snap Johnston takes. And in this league, once the coach loses trust, the quarterback isn't far behind. And as if that wasn't enough drama, another spark just hit the Chargers' rumor mill, and this one's at quarterback. Just when you thought the QB room was set, here comes a new name. And not a cheap one either. We're talking about Sam Howell, currently a backup in Seattle, possibly looking for his 3rd team in 2 years. Some analysts think LA could be his next stop. Let's rewind. Howell started for the Commanders in 2023, threw for 3,046 yards and 21 touchdowns, along with 21 interceptions. He flashed a big arm and some guts, but consistency wasn't his thing. Washington sent him to Seattle, where he barely saw the field. Now, with Drew Lock backing up Sam Darnold, Howell's the odd man out. Enter the Chargers. According to Anthony Palacios from Last Word on Sports, LA might want to add him to an already stacked room with Herbert, Taylor Heineke, and Trey Lance. But honestly, does that even make sense? Sure, there's an argument to be made. Howell adds depth. He's a safety net if Herbert gets hurt or if Lance flops. But think about it. The Chargers already gambled on Lance. They've invested. Bringing in another volatile QB, that feels like overkill. And the cap hit? Howell would cost $4 million. That's a lot for a guy who won't see the field. In a team that still needs OL help, more WR depth, and defensive reinforcements, that money should go elsewhere. Still, Harbaugh loves stacking talent at key positions. He knows Herbert's injury history. He knows Heineke is a stopgap. And Lance? Still a question mark. Maybe Howell is Harbaugh's version of an insurance policy. Fans, as usual, are torn. Some think the idea is laughable. Another QB? What is this? A Madden roster? Others are trying to see the upside. If he's cheap and doesn't mess up the cap, maybe it's worth a shot. But the truth is, the Chargers are at a crossroads. Every move has weight. And this one feels more like noise than a serious plan. Still, the fact that Howell's name even came up shows one thing. Harbaugh's not settled. He's still building, still searching for security. And after a day like this, the only question left is, are we ready for what's next? Because if today proved anything, it's that the Chargers are moving. From bold draft plans to Harbaugh family drama, locker room tension, and unexpected QB talk, this team is refusing to stand still. The future's being built right now, piece by piece, move by move. So Charger fam, would you roll the dice to change the game? Which headline shook you the most? Drop it in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more. We'll be back tomorrow, and trust me, the ride's just getting started.